Well, hey there, you're on the internet. I managed to find some more free time, and welcome to the Triple N Network, where all you newbie nib nerds can find all the news you'll need. Let's look at an ink today, shall we? Now, today's ink is kind of unusual across the board. I am particularly sensitive to smells, so scented inks are not usually my thing. However, when I saw a swatch of a sample of this ink, DeAtramentis Elderberries, I really liked it and I thought I'd give it a try. I couldn't tell you what an elderberry is. All I can tell you is that what it smells like is, if you ever had to squeeze it growing up, you know, the drinks where you had to pull the top off and then squeeze it, it smells like a cherry squeeze it. So, yeah. Anyways, all the tests were done in this TWSBI Diamond 580 with a 1.5 stub, and the ink is unexpected. As you can see, there's some potential for water resistance. For some reason, there's this really dark sort of slate blue-gray down at the bottom, and then it goes up into sort of a lighter color, and then almost like a cherry red, and then a darker sort of deep magenta band up at the top. So, yeah, let's take a look, shall we? It behaved unusual. So, yeah. So here's Clairefontaine 90 gram per square meter. 17 seconds to dry, which isn't too bad, considering, you know, this is Clairefontaine and it was a 1.5 stub. There is some shading, as you might be able to see. However, it has a slightly woolly finish. I hope that'll come through. It's, yeah, it kind of has a texture to it. But anyways, as you can see, there's the water test. It dyed the paper, but look at how dark that is. That's kind of impressive. But, yeah. No bleed feather spread. Some echo, but not terrible. Next is Rhodia 80 grams per square meter, where it took 12 seconds to dry. And there was feathering on Rhodia. How often does one see that? I mean, that's just unusual. I really should have looked at this paper ahead of time to find where I could find the really most obvious feathers. But trust me, it's there. It's, yeah, and the woolliness is still there. Good water test. Again, it slightly dyed the paper, but what remains is very dark and very clear. However, look at that. Starting to bleed through. Like, it's almost there. It's very nearly there. And then in the water test, it kind of did bleed through. So, that's rather odd. However, the color is very nice, and you know, like here, look at the word Rhodia, there's good shading, so... Next is Tomoe River Paper, where there was really nice shading. 16 seconds to dry, really not too bad. It's very clear, it's very bright. Did pretty well, there was good flow. All the way through here, all these papers so far have had good flow. No bleed feather spread, some noticeable show through just because it is such thin paper. And again, that's a fairly readable water test. The waterproofness of this ink was probably one of the most surprising and unexpected bits of it, but also kind of the most impressive in some ways. So, yep. Next is 20-pound copier paper, where I feel like it got a bit lighter. My cat is angry. 5 seconds to dry, not terrible. I think you get good shading. Again, pretty impressive water test. Yeah, no bleed feather spread, but you start to sort of notice potential for show through. Mead Notebook Paper, yay. 3 seconds to dry. Extreme feathering. Really bad bleed through. Super messy water test. I mean, this is Mead. I should stop being surprised. But still, there's hardly any shading. I mean, the shading's pretty much all gone, and anywhere where it would be is where you see the worst feathers. So there's that. And finally, Moleskine notebook paper, where it took 6 seconds to dry, which is quite unusually long. I mean, not like epically long, but definitely on the far side. And look at all the feathers. Let's see if I can hold this still long enough for the camera to focus and show you all them feathers. Wow. Right? Ooh, and look at that water test. Nasty. Yeah. And I feel like the ink got lighter as the paper got cheaper. Like if you look at this, see it gets a little darker. Here it definitely darkens. Here it even gets a little more dark. And then here it's kind of about the same. But I mean, look, if you look at how light it is here and how dark it is here, it really sort of, the paper affects a lot. So there you go. That's DeAtramentis scented Elderberries, although it smells like a cherry squeeze-it. It's a nice, rich, dark red bordering on purple. It shades well on nicer papers. It has unusual water resistance. I was actually considering buying a bottle of this, but at least at Goulet Pens, it's constantly sold out, so I guess it certainly has a fan following. So there you go for your consideration from the Triple N Network. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more, please subscribe to the channel. And so long. Have a good day.